Hi, my name is Chris Addick from the Veterans Law Blog. It's my goal on the Veterans Law Blog to educate veterans about the laws surrounding their VA claims or appeals. Ideally, I want you to be able to take back the power in your VA claim and win it on your own. Or, if you do choose to hire a representative or attorney, I want you to choose one that's best for your claim and to use the Veterans Law Blog to keep better tabs on what they are or are not doing, or what they should be doing in your VA claims and appeals. But today, I want to talk to you briefly about Gulf War illness, or what the VA wants to now start calling Chronic Multi-Symptom Illness from the Gulf War, or CMSI. To understand Gulf War syndrome, Gulf War illness, or what the VA wants to call CMSI, that Chronic Multi-Symptom Illness, we merely have to take a look back at the Vietnam War. So for years and years and years after our troops came home, nobody could figure out why veterans from the Vietnam War were being diagnosed with some really scary medical conditions, from heart disease to diabetes to some really frightening types of cancer, at rates that were staggeringly out of proportion to the civilian population of their same age group or generation. 15 to 20 years after the war, somebody started piecing it all together. It was the dioxin that the U.S. government sprayed over most of Southeast Asia for the better part of a decade during the Vietnam War. You know it as Agent Orange. Fast forward to Desert Shield and Desert Storm. Veterans started coming home with stomach and nerve problems that nobody could really understand. Sometimes the conditions looked like irritable bowel syndrome or some other gastrointestinal condition, but they weren't similar enough to it to get diagnosed with that condition. Sometimes the conditions looked like fibromyalgia, but it wasn't similar enough or didn't meet enough of the diagnostic criteria to get diagnosed as fibromyalgia. Sleep breathing problems that looked like sleep apnea but didn't meet enough of the diagnostic criteria to get diagnosed as sleep apnea were also common. Well, we still don't know to 100% certainty what causes the situation known as Gulf War syndrome. And everybody's got their guesses, and this isn't the point of the post to guess about what the cause is. But what I want this to be about, and what I want to share with you, is that I want you to know that if you meet certain criteria, if you are a Gulf War veteran, meet certain criteria, you can get service-connected disability benefits for this chronic multi-symptom illness, this undiagnosed conditions. I'm going to give you all the details over on the Veterans Law Blog, but if you meet the following basic criteria, I just want you to know that you might very well qualify for a VA presumption that you have the chronic multi-symptom illness known as Gulf War syndrome. First, you have to have qualifying Persian Gulf service. Hop on the blog or search on Google and you can find out exactly what those dates of service and locations of service are. Second, you have to have a qualifying chronic disability, like chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, or some functional gastrointestinal disorder. Now, just because you don't have those specific diagnoses doesn't mean you can't qualify. You can still qualify if you have symptoms of the following list that doctors can't seem to diagnose or explain as anything. Fatigue, signs or symptoms of skin problems, headaches, muscle pain, joint pain, neurological signs or symptoms, neuropsychological signs, signs or symptoms involving the respiratory system, either the upper or the lower airways, sleep disturbances, gastrointestinal signs or symptoms that aren't diagnosed, cardiovascular signs or symptoms that aren't diagnosed, abnormal weight loss, menstrual disorders, and a couple more. The bottom line is that you have to have these symptoms, probably one or more, to meet the criteria effectively. But if you have the symptoms and they're not associated with a diagnosed condition, you stand a pretty good chance, if you have qualifying Persian Gulf service, of proving that you have the chronic multi-symptom illness known as Gulf War syndrome. Today, veterans from Desert Shield, all the way up to OIF and OEF, are suffering from some pretty scary stuff. It's important that you start learning about it now. I want you to click on the link in this video, or if you're watching this on Facebook, I want to have you click on the Learn More button that you see near the video to see if you might be eligible for service connection to the CMSI, chronic multi-symptom illness known as Gulf War syndrome. Now, stick with the Veterans Law Blog. I'm going to show you over the course of several other posts how to prove that, what sort of evidence to include in your claim. I want you to be able to do that sort of thing on your own. Take back the power in your VA claim. Or if you choose to hire a representative, I want you to be able to A, pick the representative that's best for your claim, and B, learn how to keep tabs on that representative so that you make sure that they are doing everything for you that they can and should be doing to help you get your VA service-connected disability compensation benefits. Hop on over to the Veterans Law Blog at veteranslawblog.org. Say hi and let me know if there's any other posts that I can talk to you about.